So right now I'm standing on the site of St. Joseph's Church where that formerly used to sit. Stairs are still here. Sign is still here. This church's mission continues. They have a thrift shop and a care for kids. Parsonage, they do a lot with the food pantry here. And today I want to talk about a Leicester High School graduate named James Sugrue. Speaking of Leicester High School, we might be heading out for a field trip today. For those of you who might not know, this is James Sugrue. We're at the corner of Waite Street and Main Street. Community Field is right there down the hill. James was part of the Gold Star Project. You can see he's got a nice new sign. Get you squared away. We added these QR codes as part of the Leicester Gold Star Project. You can scan these, learn the history behind it. In memory of James Sugrue, U.S. Army Air Force, born February 19, 1919. Killed in action in North Africa, March 12, 1943. Citations: Air Medal, Oak Leaf Cluster, Purple Heart. Erected by his parents. James's parents were immigrants from Ireland. His father was actually a stonemason by trade. So James was born on February 19th, which is actually my birthday. I keep seeing all these little things on these Gold Star squares that just resonate with me. So February 19, 1919, he graduated at Leicester High School in 1938. I graduated at Leicester High School in 1998. 60-year difference, same school. James graduated at Leicester High School with honors. So right after they graduated, the senior class in 1938 took a class trip to New York and Washington, D.C. So James was 19 years old at the time, and I think about him and his friends, you know, fresh out of high school, roaming around New York City. I bet those guys had a heck of a good time. After high school, he went to Northeastern. He did at least 2 years there, and then tragically Pearl Harbor happened. FDR said that's a day that'll live in infamy, and he was certainly right about that.
President escorted by his son James, Captain Jimmy Roosevelt, in the uniform of the United States Marine Corps.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
James here, 13 days after the Japanese attacks on Pearl Harbor, he signed up. James went overseas and he was tragically lost in World War II. He died in North Africa. And then in 1943, there was a service for James right behind me at St. Joseph's Church. They had the services for James in 1943 at the church behind me. And then his father came across the street in May 1943 and built this in tribute to his son. Now, I want to invite you guys for a moment, especially the fathers. I want to invite you for a moment to consider what that must have been like. So it's May 22nd right now, around the same time he would have been building this, same time of year. Out here, the church where you laid your son to rest is behind you. You're in the shadow of it. You're laying these stones one by one in honor of your son. Like, I think about that when I drive by here now, because now I know, and before I didn't. But you think about what that father must have had going through his head. And like, I can't even imagine, or maybe it's that I don't want to imagine it. I've got 2 boys and a daughter. I drive by this place with a completely new perspective now. And I want more people to as well. So traffic counts here, and we've got 11,800 cars driving by here daily, right? How many of them know what this place is and the significance here? It's amazing. I'm going to take a short walk down the community field, which is right down the hill from here. We used to come down here all the time for high school football games. I think it's used more of a soccer field nowadays, which is awesome. You think of all the Leicester kids that drove by that obelisk, and all the kids and parents from visiting teams. And I want you guys to be honest. If you're from Leicester and you've driven by this place, did you know what that obelisk was about? Or who built it? Who put it there? Oh man, do I have good memories of this place. Some things are nice, new and shiny, but I wouldn't trade this old scoreboard for the world. That's the same scoreboard that was there when I was in high school. You know how many games that thing has seen? I remember one of my high school buddies broke one here. He went ripping down the sidelines. He's no longer with us. When that happens as you get older, you lose some of your high school friends. But man, did we go nuts. He got the ball. It was a running play. He did like 95 yards. Took it to the house on him. These signs are newer. Love to see progress. Thanks to whoever's taking care of this stuff. I've never in my life noticed this plaque. We're discovering this together. Community Field, 1935. Built by the citizens of Leicester. If we come over here, we're going to find someone else's name in stone. So today is May 22nd, 2026. Officer Tarantino was lost 10 years ago today, tragically and senselessly. And they put this down here to honor him. And it's clear the impact he had in his community. We've got other names etched in stone down here, not just James. We've got Ron right here. We've got James right up there. And we've got an entire community here right in between. It's quiet now, but tomorrow's Saturday. I bet this place will be hopping with soccer games and kids hooting and hollering, parents cheering them on from Leicester and other places. So next we're going to take a short ride down the road here, and we're going to go try to find James. So this is actually Scott's house. They used to do the most amazing Christmas display you've ever seen in your life. Scott spends his time up on the town common nowadays helping out with that Christmas display. People like Scott represent the best parts of this town. This is the cemetery that James is buried in. St. Joseph Cemetery. So I'm here to find James Sugrue. I have no idea where he's at. I've been part of the Leicester community in some way or another since I was 3 years old. And I can honestly say that this is the first time in my life that I have ever stepped foot in this cemetery. I'm gonna look around here till I find it. So here's one I do recognize. William Cooney. Lawrence McCarthy, I recognize him too. World War II, Gallant, Harris, Kane, Lamont. Look at those guys, I recognize all those names. Reverend John Redican, 1855-1904. He was the pastor at St. Joe's. And he's got a flag. These flags have significance. Our scout troop puts these flags out at a different cemetery. I'm not sure who does them here, but you can rest assured they're not forgotten. These places are taken care of. Lemeries, I recognize that last name too. Found James. James F. Sugrue, Massachusetts, 1st Lieutenant. World War II. February 19th, March 12th, 1943. Pull some of this stuff. Tidy it up a little here. It's only 2 rows behind him. Sort of difficult to articulate what this is like, thinking about it. That might be his parents, I don't know. You can just see the land has built up. Look at the stones are... Just look at that. That's kind of interesting, right? The march of time. John Sugrue. 1962. His wife, James's mother, 1953. James, 1943. You know, parents aren't supposed to outlive their children. James is gone, his parents are gone. The church is gone. But the memories remain, and the lessons remain. I don't know when, but I'll promise you I'll be back here. Look at all these flags. It's looking nice down here. There's people working down here tidying up. There's things on the graves. Oh, look at this. This little bird is just hanging out here. I'm really glad I came here today. It's easy to forget that every single one of these had a funeral, a bunch of people standing out here, remembering the person. I think a lot of that is lost to time. Part of James's story I left out is that his remains weren't returned to this area for like 5 or 6 years after the war. That happened a lot back then because there was so much chaos and carnage. You know, it's just how it was. So 5, 6 years later, James's remains returned. They got back February 16th. February 17th, they held a wake. And then on February 18th, they had his funeral. So that's right down there. So Imagine this, you're James's parents. It's 5 or 6 years after you've lost your son. The war is over. You get his remains back 5 or 6 years after the war's over. You know what struck me? Like, jumped out of the page and struck me? James's funeral was all those years after the war had ended, right? His funeral was on February 18th. His birthday was February 19th. God bless every American flag in this place and the person and story behind it. I'm leaving the cemetery now, and I want to show you guys what we've got going on here. So, cemetery to my left, where James is buried, along with some of Leicester's other Gold Star heroes. Community field, Officer Tarantino to our left. Cemetery behind us. The church is gone. The memory remains. Stop next time you come by here. Pay your respects. Learn the history. Teach your kids.
I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost. In addition, American ships have been reported torpedoed on the high seas between San Francisco and Honolulu. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Hong Kong. Last night, Japanese forces attacked Guam. Last night, Japanese forces attacked the Philippine Islands. Last night, the Japanese attacked Waite Island. And this morning, the Japanese attacked Midway Island. Japan has therefore undertaken a surprise offensive extending throughout the Pacific area. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. The people of the United States have already formed their opinions and well understand the implications to the very life and safety of our nation. No matter how long it may take us to overcome this premeditated invasion, the American people in their righteous might will win through to absolute victory. Confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem.